Hey, good morning, Randy.
Hey,
How you
man.
doing?
Morning.
All right. So we've been talking about the content of the conference in terms of these themes of, well, we talked about mindfulness and presence, and we're going to talk about empathy and some other themes as well. And we just discussed this idea. I just want to step back because I'm getting a lot of questions from people going, you're having this at a camp and it's not at a five-star hotel.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think anyone's suspicious. I think it's just different for them. They're trying to frame it in a way that they can, ask their boss, I want to go to this leadership retreat. So let's step back from the content for a moment and talk about the context. From your point of view and your experience, what are the benefits of getting together and talking about the stresses and the ups and downs and the ins and outs of leadership in an environment that's not a hotel, that is a retreat camp facility with a lake, with sunshine, with the smell of pine needles, with quiet places, with a campfire at night? You bring your guitar. Like, why is all of this? Why does this resonate with you? Why do you find that? Let's talk about that for a bit.
So it's funny, what was the "you had me at hello" quote from Renee Zellweger?
Yeah.
Um, um, so you had me at lake, and then you made it better with pine needles and fire and quiet and guitar. Um, so when we talk about mindfulness, when we talk about how do we show up as our best selves, and concepts like that,
Mm.
which are the bedrock of being good to great leaders. You're talking about how do you go through a mind shift? How do you become self-aware? How do you notice things about yourself, how you're showing up, that you can then adjust? Right? We can only change what you notice. So an environment like this, and this is your home base, right? You brought this to me.
Yeah.
I have this whole camp experience. I grew up going to very modest, we call them camps too, in upstate New York on Lake Champlain. And this is your zone down in the sugar plantations of Central Florida.
Yeah.
So what's special about that? Well, it is the unplugging that comes with being in a different environment. It's the opportunity to walk around in the quiet, to listen to the waves on the lake, listen to the birds singing, watch the stars at night, hear the fire crackle, to find a little quiet, to find a little peace, and to see what comes to you. Right? I mean, sometimes we're surprised by what little voices sort of fill our heads when we turn off the laptop, we turn
Right.
off cable TV, and we turn off our phones.
Mm.
And that's something that we encourage people that come to this to do, to separate from that, to be in the moment, to go through that mind shift, and to be open to exploring what happens. And people are often surprised, when you step out of, the Hilton, right?
Yeah.
You are immediately in a different place, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and you see things differently, and you feel things differently. And I like to think that when you're outdoors, that you're
Mm.
engaging different senses, if not all the senses. I personally like the um, opportunity to be in an environment where it's kind of neutral ground for everybody, and you can engage with people at a deeper level.
Right.
Um, it was amazing. I remember last year when we did this, that very first night, sitting in the rocking chairs, doing some pretty deep sharing about why we were there, what we hope to get out of this.
That was ground rules night on the Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
But within an hour, we really had built trust, and we built some deep connections, and people were opening themselves up to the possibility of growth. And I just think that's really cool and really special. And so, why do I bring a guitar? Not because I'm trying to inflict myself on anybody, but for me, playing a few chords and singing a little bit is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
It's a form of sharing. You're inviting other people into it, either to listen or to sing along with you or whatever.
Yep.
So it's just another tool for opening ourselves up in a different way. Having said all of that, I don't want people to think we're going to be, wearing tie-dye and dancing on the fire howling at the moon. Like the purpose of this really is to shake people out of their day-to-day way of engaging the world, their day-to-day way of presenting themselves, and looking and listening for something else. All right, I like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. I want to grow in my relationship with my team. I want to be a better boss. You can only do those things when you start by taking stock of yourself and how you're showing up.
Well, to do that, you have to be alone with your thoughts.
A little scary sometimes for some people.
We go to these, those of us in the AEC space, we go to these conferences all the time. And at first I used to think that your senses were being overwhelmed. Like if you've ever been to Las Vegas, your senses are just constantly being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then I thought, it's not really overwhelming your senses. It's just loud and it's just visually stimulating. All of your senses are not being overwhelmed, but they're picking a few of them and going, they're turning it up to 11. What I find about going outside,
Spinal Tap quote.
Yes, Spinal Tap, slip that in.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of the resonant memories that I have of being at this place when I was a kid, this is the camp that I went to when I was a kid. It was shoes off, in the water, in the sunshine, relaxed. And so more of the senses seem to be engaged. And then it was a way now I find, like you mentioned, I sit for an hour every day. I try to watch the sunrise and sit for an hour. It's the ability to be alone with your thoughts and have it not be scary. And you end up discovering a lot of really important things doing nothing. It's like you try to do nothing and it's hard, but this is like really doing nothing for a moment, just for a little bit, to be alone with your thoughts and get at the essence of what's important. Yeah. And it is scary at first, but what other options are there?
Well, the other options are what we typically do, which is keep ourselves distracted and keep our minds cluttered and run from one thing to the next and build our personal brand and our sense of self-worth based on how busy we are. We all do it to one degree or another in the professional fields. And you can earn a buck that way, and you can find a fair bit of success that way. But if what you're looking to do is to really dig into who you are and show up as your best self, so that you can live a balanced and meaningful life, and also be a good boss and be a good leader and be good at developing clients, all those kinds of things. This is a key to unlocking it. This is a different way of doing it. And so I personally, the first time we talked about it, we said, oh, it's an unconference, because we're like, how many we've been to a million PowerPoint driven meetings and hotel conference room meetings, and I don't even want to know how many years of my life I've spent in hotels and airports, getting to hotels and everything. And this is not that.
Yeah.
So, and we've laughed too about, this is jazz, not classical, right? This is meeting people where they are and trying to follow their lead, and trying to be client-centered and client-directed in this particular experience means that we're reacting to what we're seeing brought to the Unconference by the people that come. And one of my favorite things from last year was, the moments where like, I didn't realize how much I needed this, and
Right.
I've made some real deep friendships here in a week. I didn't think that was possible. I'm seeing myself in a different way now. I'm leaving here with a couple of tools that I'm going to use right away. When I re-engage.
Hmm.
And that, to me, that's really exciting. That was our goal. And I think
Well, the number of people that, I mean, we go to these, go to conferences, live inside a hotel for a week, and then you come home and you're physically kind of sedentary, but you still feel exhausted.
Yeah.
Whereas we were fairly active. We went for walks. We
Yeah.
go and do for a walk, think about this topic.
Yeah.
You have this free time now. Do what you want to do, go down the lake. Most people tend to gravitate towards going down to the lake. And then you just start having really good conversations with people. And at the end of the week, no one felt exhausted. Like how nice that is, that people felt refreshed and they were energized and ready to go back to work, and, looking forward to meeting their team, not exhausted and needing a weekend to catch up on, having.
Right.
So thanks, Randy. Looking forward to seeing which guitar have you decided?
It'll be a toss up between the Jumbo Gibson acoustic,
Yeah,
the Alvarez 12-string, and a new Seagull that I got. We'll see.
there's never enough guitars.
Never enough guitars.
Look, I would encourage, if anyone wants to bring their acoustic instrument of choice, please do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have a set list. It's just a way to enjoy each other's company.
That's it.
All right, buddy. Thanks,
All right.
Randy.
Cheers.
Next week, man.
Look forward to it.